Every night, at exactly 3:03, something walks down our street whistling softly. You can only hear it from the living room or kitchen. It starts faintly near the Carson place, moves past us and fades by the cul-de-sac. When I was younger, my sister and I would sneak out to listen, though Mom and Dad didn't approve. They always reminded us of the big rule: don't try to look at whatever's whistling. I've lived here since I was 6. The neighborhood is quiet, with well-kept houses and plenty of kids my age. We play in the cul-de-sac or hang out from back porch to back porch during the summer. The neighborhood is nice, but there are 2 oddities: the whistling and the good luck. The whistling never bothered me much. I couldn't hear it from my bedroom, but my parents don't like talking about it. My dad, tall and calm with an island accent, gets uneasy when the whistler comes up. He tells us not to think too much about it and always reminds us of the big rule. We have shutters on all the windows, thick canvas with locks that my dad secures every night. I'm not sure what my mom thinks. I've caught her out in the living room listening to the whistling a couple of times. It's always the same tune. Da 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 dum. Apart from the whistling, everyone in the neighborhood is unusually lucky. Small miracles happen all the time, like unexpected promotions or finding arrowheads in the yard. When my sister Nola was born sick, we moved here to be closer to the hospital, and as soon as we did, she started getting better. We chalked it up to the neighborhood's good luck. But for every miracle, there's a catch. Bad things happen if you try to look for the whistler. When we moved in, the welcoming committee showed up with casserole, a gift basket, and a manila folder. They told my parents about the whistling and warned them not to look for whatever causes it. People who did experienced bad luck, with lives full of misfortune and loss. One night, my dad bought the locks and installed the shutters. That night, I crept out of my room and found him sitting on the couch with Nola, waiting. At exactly 3:03, we heard the whistling, just like the neighbors said. And every night since, we've followed the big rule. My dad even joined the welcoming committee. When new families move in, he brings them the casserole, basket, and the manila folder. They always follow the rules, but not everyone does. A new family moved in next door. Their son, Holden, came over to stay with us one night. As soon as his parents left, Holden asked about the whistling. I told him not to talk about it, but he was insistent. He said he thought it was someone who lived in the big yellow house on the corner. Later that night, Holden admitted he had taken my dad's key to the blinds. He said he wanted to see for himself. He unlocked the blinds and the whistling grew louder. I grabbed Nola and turned her away from the window, keeping my eyes shut, while I reached for the blinds and slammed them shut. We heard Holden scream. My parents rushed into the room. Holden was pale, shaking, and had wet himself. My dad whispered to me, asking if I was sure that Holden was the only one who looked. I nodded. There was a knock at the door. It was soft at first, but then it grew louder, shaking the door. It stopped, but then it started again, at the back door. We heard knocking from all directions. Then a voice, exactly like my mom's, whispered from the other side, "Police! Call the police." Holden begged us to leave it alone, but the knocking continued. My parents stayed close, holding bats. We didn't open the door. It wasn't until dawn that the knocking stopped. By then, the sun had risen, and my dad finally opened the blinds, signaling it was over. Later that day, Holden's family moved out. We never saw them again. That night, we all slept in my room, and there was no knocking. Since then, things have been quiet again. But I'll always remember how Holden and his parents looked when they left. How tired they were, how different.